Hello there, friend. Let me ask you something very honest. How often do you find yourself lying in bed at night, staring at the ceiling, trying to figure out what's next? What am I supposed to be doing? Why is this happening to me? What if things never change? Worry. It creeps in like a shadow and makes itself at home in the corners of our minds. But today, I want to remind you of something powerful, something eternal. Stop worrying. God has a plan for you. C.S. Lewis once said, "The real problem is not why some pious, humble, believing people suffer, but why some do not." What he meant was this: suffering, waiting, and even worrying are common to us all. But they don't have to master us. You see, worry is often our attempt to take control over what only God can govern. It's like trying to drive a car from the back seat. We can turn the wheel all we want, but we won't get anywhere. In Matthew 6 verse 27, Jesus asked a simple question: can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? Of course not. Worry doesn't move time. Worry doesn't open doors. Worry doesn't write the next chapter in your story. Only God can do that. Imagine reading a book, and halfway through the story, the main character gets lost, confused, maybe even hurt. You wouldn't shut the book and say, "Well, that's the end." No, you keep reading because you trust the author has a purpose. Jeremiah 29 verse 11 is a verse we often quote, but let's pause and listen to it. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a future and a hope." Now here's what's interesting. God spoke this to people who were in exile. They had been taken from their homes, living in a land that wasn't theirs, wondering, where's God in all of this? And that's when he tells them, "I haven't forgotten you. I still have a plan." Friend, God is not writing your story in pencil. He doesn't panic when we go off course. He doesn't abandon the plan when life gets messy. C.S. Lewis often reflected on how God is most present when he feels most distant. In his book A Grief Observed, Lewis wrestled with deep sorrow and wrote, "But go to him when your need is desperate, and what do you find? A door slammed in your face." But even in that silence, he learned this: God was still there. Think of Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, accused, imprisoned. If anyone had reason to worry or think God had forgotten him, it was Joseph. But when the time was right, God raised him up to become the very one who would save many lives. Joseph later told his brothers in Genesis 50 verse 20, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good." Even in the silence, God was at work. Let me tell you something humbling. Sometimes the plan God has for you isn't just about you. Yes, he loves you. Yes, he's guiding your life. But the story God is writing includes others, families, communities, generations. Romans 8 verse 28 says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him." Not just some things. Not just the things you understand. All things. Your delays, your closed doors, your silent seasons, they're not wasted. Sometimes God is arranging things behind the scenes, lining up people you haven't met, opportunities you haven't seen, and blessings you didn't even know to pray for. So what do you do while you wait for God's plan to unfold? Let me offer you 3 simple steps. First, rest in God's character. God is good. That's not just a Sunday school phrase. It's the anchor of your faith. Even when life isn't good, God still is. Second, be faithful in the small things. God doesn't ask us to understand the whole plan. He just asks us to obey what he's given us today. Cook that meal. Show up to work. Pray for that person. These are seeds, and God sees them. Third, speak life to your own heart. Worry is loud, but truth is louder. Remind yourself daily, "The Lord will perfect that which concerns me." Psalm 138 verse 8. "Though I walk through the valley, you are with me." Psalm 23. "I will never leave you nor forsake you." Hebrews 13 verse 5. Let me leave you with an image. Picture a tapestry, beautiful, colorful, full of detail. But flip it over, and all you see is knots and tangled threads. That's what life feels like sometimes. You're looking at the tangled side, and it makes no sense. But God is on the other side, weaving something beautiful. And one day, you'll see it. One day, the picture will make sense. Until then, trust the weaver. Friend, I don't know what's weighing on your heart today, but I do know this. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. And you are not without hope. Stop worrying. God has a plan for you. You don't have to know the whole plan. You just need to know the one who holds it. If this spoke to your heart, share it with someone who needs hope today. And remember, he who began a good work, and you will be faithful to complete it. God bless you. See you next time.